Shalom. First and foremost, want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua. That's Yahweh, who the world inwardly calls God. In the name of the Son, Yahushua, who the world knows is Jesus Christ. It's your brother, Kazak Magun, of the Angels of Yahweh out here in Chicago. Right, coming at y'all with another quick lesson, man. Right, the title of this lesson is, the secrets is coming out. Right, the secrets is coming out. Right, you got all these celebrities, they getting tagged in these in these files that been being dropped. Linked to PDFs, linked to being PDFs and child, sacrifice and all of that, and the worship of other gods, all these things they got that going on, man. And they getting exposed for it. Your president even got exposed for it, right? So before I grab this precept, I want to grab this precept before I do anything else, right? This the book of Luke, chapter 12 and verse 2. Right, Luke chapter 12 and verse 2. It says, "For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. Right, therefore whatsoever ye have spoken in darkness shall be heard in the light, and that which ye have spoken in the ear in closets shall be proclaimed upon the housetops." Right, so, and that's red letter, so that's the Lord Yahweh Shai. He said that himself. He said, ain't nothing that's, did in secret that ain't gonna be known. You got these people, they in these secret societies. They link together, the elites of this world, the rich of this world, and they do these rituals. You got movies that expose this stuff. You got the movie called The Hunt. You got Eyes Wide Shut. You got what is that called? Blink Twice. Right, you got all these movies. When the elites they come together, they do these rituals. On these private islands and all of that, or in these mansions, these hidden mansions. They get together and they do these things. They had these wild parties in which they, freak off with each other. They freak off with each other and they, do sacrifices and rituals and all that. So what inspired me to do this video, Nicki Minaj just came out with some recent tweets. She been being a puppet to Trump. But even Trump though, he done got accused of some things, with some teens or whatever, doing some things in them files, right? Which he tried to claim, he was innocent, but it's exposed now. It's out there, right? Everybody got access to this. This is now public information, right? But this Nicki's tweet though. This one of her tweets. It says, "Your favorite artist has been practicing rituals in a satanic cult where they take babies from other countries and mutilate and unalive them as a form of a blood sacrifice to their God. You see, when your master is Satan, you must constantly shed blood, however the jig is up." And I first saw this tweet on Facebook. I was like, man, let me go to her real Twitter, right, to see if she really posted this. And this is her real verified Twitter. And yes, she really posted this, right? So let's just start with this first statement she made. Your favorite artist has been practicing rituals in a satanic cult where they take babies from other countries and mutilate and unalive them as a form of a blood sacrifice to their God, right? And even back in the ancient world, right, the people that inhabited the land before we got up in there, the people that inhabited the land of what is called the land of Canaan, which later became the land of Israel, right? The people that we pushed out, the Hittites, the Canaanites, right? Mostly African nations, Moabites as well, which are the Chinese, Ammonites, which are the Japanese, right? They got pushed all the way to the east, right? Further east, further and further east, until they came to the lands where they are. You got the Girgashites, the Hivites, right? All of those are Canaanite African nations, right? And we pushed them out of the land because the Lord said that they were defiling the land, right? With the things that they were doing, right? Let's go and get a example of some of the things that they were doing. Salakia. This is Wisdom of Solomon, right? Chapter 12. And I'm going to start at verse 3. It says, "For it was thy will to destroy by the hands of our fathers both those old inhabitants of the Holy Land." Right? So the Lord, during the time of the Exodus, while we were in the wilderness, we had to go on a conquering quest. And we had to conquer our land and push all the other nations out of our land that was doing wickedness. Right? So that's what it's saying. By the hands of our forefathers, the old inhabitants of the land were destroyed. It say, verse 4, "Whom thou hatest for doing most odious works of witchcrafts." Right? So they was doing works of witchcrafts in the land. They was doing a lot of necrophilia, right? Meaning consulting with the dead, right? They was doing it was a lot of bestiality, a lot of rituals and basically, drug use and all that, because that's what witchcraft is today. Witchcraft is just drug use. It's a form of drug use, because when you go into the Greek, that word for witchcraft is pharmakeia, right? Which where you get the word pharmacy from, right? But so yeah, they was doing witchcraft, child sacrifice, blood orgies, drinking blood, worshiping idols, bowing down to other gods. They was doing all of these things in the land, and that land is supposed to be holy, right? That land is supposed to be holy. So the Lord was like, "Hey, I got to get these people up out this land." Right? So it said, "Whom thou hatest for doing most odious works of witchcrafts and wicked sacrifices." Right? They was doing witchcraft and wicked sacrifices. Verse 5. "Also those merciless unalivers of children and devourers of men's flesh." So they was over there practicing cannibalism. It's practicing cannibalism and unaliving children. It say, "and the feast of blood." So they was doing feasts of blood. Right? Even now today you can see Africans over there, they'll poke the cow in the neck, drain all the blood out, and then they'll pass the bowl around drinking the blood. Right? They do those things. You got African nations over there. They if you an albino, your life is in danger from the moment you born. Because you got witch doctors that'll cut your body parts off and would cook it and eat it, because it's said to bring it's said to restore health and bring good luck and things like that. So they still practice these rituals over there today. And a lot of the elites of this world, they practice those same rituals because it's all satanic. Right? It's all satanic. It's all the worship of other gods like Baal and Molech. Right? Speaking of Baal, they just dropped some more information saying that, Epstein, his one of his bank accounts, one of his offshore bank accounts was named Baal. It was named Baal, which is a Canaanite deity. Right? You got Baal, Molech. You got that island that they got over there, the Bohemian Grove. They do rituals and sacrifices over there too. And on the Bohemian Grove, it's a giant owl statue. It's a giant owl statue. And one of the many forms of Molech is an owl. So that tell you right there who they worship and who they sacrificing to. Drake, one of y'all favorite artists. Drake. That OVO owl. You think he just rocked the owl because for no reason. Cause he like owls or whatever. No, he rocks the owl because he worshiped the god Molech. And he said that in the court case. When he tried to sue, when he was suing somebody, when somebody tried to sue him for the owl design, right? He had somebody draw the owl up for him or whatever. And then that person was like, yeah, I created this OVO design. So, he has to pay me for it. And Drake went in there and testified that, this owl design is for the worship of the God that I serve, Molech. And you can look this information up. That OVO owl is the owl of Molech. Right? So all your artists, your favorite artists, like Nicki said, man, they do these things. Right? It said also those merciless unalivers of children and devourers of man's flesh and the feast of blood, with their priests out of the midst of their idolatrous crew, and the parents that killed with their own hands souls destitute of help. Let's talk about children. Souls destitute of help, meaning they was defenseless. Children can't defend themselves. They weak. They can't defend themselves against grown adults. They can't do what they can't fight off a grown adult. So that's why they get unalived and sacrificed. Right? Also, your Planned Parenthood is a way of sacrificing the Molech too. Right? You sacrificing your children. You don't know what they doing with your baby. They probably send your baby out to one of them islands or whatever. And, unalive it there and feast on his blood, man. This Leviticus 20:2. It say, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, again thou shalt say to the children of Israel, whosoever he be of the children of Israel, or of the strangers that sojourn in Israel, that giveth any of his seed unto Molech, he shall surely be unalive. The people of the land shall stone him with stones. Right? So you give your seed, meaning your children, to Molech. How would they give their seed to the Molech? They would either, basically stab their child, unalive them that way, or you had big statues of Molech, which was in that form he would be he would have a bull head. He would like a man's body, but with a bull head, with the arms holding out, and they would have like pockets within the statue, and you would go and place your child's body within those pockets, and then they would set that whole statue on fire. Right, burning those children alive. That was one of the ways that they sacrificed the Molech. It says, verse 3, and I will set my face against that man and will cut him off from among his people, because he had given his seed unto Molech to defile my sanctuary and to profane my holy name. So the Most High, he against that. He against that. He said, and if the people of the land do anyways hide their eyes from the man when he giveth of his seed to Molech, and destroy him not, then I will set my face against that man. So even if you know somebody that's doing this and you don't speak out against it, but you basically turn the other cheek, hide your face from it, act like you don't know, the Most High is against you too. It says, when he giveth his seed unto Molech and kill him not, then I will set my face against that man and against his family, and will cut him off, and all that go a-whoring after him to commit whoredom with Molech from among their people. Right? Let's go back to what Nicki was talking about. Slide, what the hell? Oh, there you go. It say, you see, when your master is Satan, you must constantly shed blood. However, the jig is up. Right? And a lot of these artists, They get up there like they just had the Grammys the other night. They'll get up there on the stage when they accept their award. They be like, yeah, first, I want to thank God. You don't know what God they talking about. You don't know what God they talking about. These people, they done did things for that money that they got, man. They done did all kind of things for that little money that they got and for them awards, man. You can't serve two gods at one time. Like this Matthew chapter 6. And let me see. There you go. Matthew chapter 6 and verse 24. It says, no man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon. Right? What is mammon? Let's go to my other Bible app and look up that word for mammon. Interlinear concordance. You got to go into these words, man. Let's see what that word in the Greek for mammon. Mamanas. Mammon, treasure, riches. Where it is personified and opposed to God. Right? So money can be an idol as well. You got people, they wake up, they say, I wake up, I'm getting to the money. I go to sleep, I'm getting to the money. Before I go to bed, I'm getting to the money. Before I go to bed, I'm counting the money. When I wake up, I'm counting the money. You know, don't call me unless it's about money. Only thing is on my mind is money. That cream, cash rules everything around me. You know, you got niggas worship money. And a lot of time when you niggas, y'all worshiping money, y'all putting money over the Most High. And y'all will go out and do the craziest shit for money. That's what this means. You can't serve God and mammon. You can't serve God and money. Money is an idol. You serving them what they call them, the blue faces. You serving them the green faces or whatever. Right? You serving the dead presidents. You idolizing them because you want them. You trying to gravitate yourself to them. Don't invite me nowhere unless it's about the money. Hold on, brother. We talking about the Most High right now. We talk about the Most High. You don't want to be in on this conversation? Nah, man. A lot of times when we out there on the streets and we trying to teach the people, right? We say, brother, you got a minute for the word of the Lord? Nah, man, I'm trying to get some money right now. I'm on my way to work, man. Nah, man, y'all brothers need to go to work. Why y'all out here standing on the corner, man? Well, first off, brother, we out here teaching the Bible, brother. We got jobs, but we don't give a damn about them. You know, we serve the Most High first and foremost before anything. We don't, money here today, it'd be gone later on that day or gone tomorrow. But the Lord go always provide. But yeah, so mammon is treasure, riches, right? That's what that's going into. You can't serve two masters, man. You can't serve money and the Most High. Right? You got to pick one. So when they up there, and ultimately, if you serving money, you serving Satan, man. Right? Ultimately, when they up there on that stage and they thanking God for all their accomplishments, they serving Satan. That's what they thinking. Right? You might think, oh damn, he got all this money and he's still trying to be righteous. Man, hell no. That man has sold his soul. That man sold his soul. He got the bag, and he gone. He's a goner unless he repent. Right? This is the book of damn. I went to John. I want Mark. Mark 8. Mark 8:36. For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Right? So what do you really profit? You gain the whole world. You gain the world. You get all these riches, glory. You get to drive the Lambos, sleep with a dozen women every night. Yeah, it might sound cool, all that. But ultimately, you get all those things, the so-called white man control you. And your life don't have no real substance. You go find that out. You gonna find that out. That's why your life don't have no real substance. It don't have no real meaning. All that other shit go get old. Because the only thing that can provide that light into your life is the Most High. But you're not serving him. You done already sold your soul. So you try to blind yourself with pleasures, temporary pleasures, to try to hide that void that's within you. You can't hide that void. And even on the low level, are people that, that's not even the elite, that's not even celebrities. They serve money too. I was just talking to some people on Facebook about, people that get into the line of selling their body and all that and posting on these OnlyFans apps and doing that. They serving money, right? And it could be for a lack of money or it could be from trauma. Either way. This is what the Bible says. This Lamentations 1:11. Just to show you this. Lamentations 1:11. It says, all her people sigh. Meaning her, when it's talking about her, it's talking about Israel, right? Because the Lord said in Jeremiah 6:2, I have likened the daughter of Zion, meaning Israel, to be a comely and delicate woman. So Israel is, as a whole nation, we likened unto a woman. Meaning the Lord compares us to a woman. Because he's married to us. That's what a covenant is. It's like a marriage, right? So we got a contract with the Lord. It's like a marriage contract. So it says, I have likened verse 11. It says, all her people sigh. They seek bread. What do we call our bread today? We call money our bread, right? And I'm out here getting this bread, y'all. I'm out here getting this bread, bro. I'm stacking my bread. I'm getting my chips in. That's what we call it. We call our bread. That's slang. You see the Bible speaking slang. That's how you know niggas wrote the Bible. That's how you know the Bible is about niggas. Right? And when I say niggas, I'm talking about blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. Because we all use that slang. Right? It says they seek bread. They have what? Given their pleasant things for meat to relieve the soul. So they give they pleasant, and men and women do this. They out there on the OnlyFans showing they pleasant things for money. Showing what their body could do for money. Right? Showing, they out there on the blade on Fig Street. Selling their body for money. Doing sex work. All of these our people, they do these things because they poor. They traumatized, all of that. They going through it and they feel like they got to give up their pleasant things for meat to relieve the soul. It says, see, O Lord, and consider, for I am become vile. Right? And this is a vile thing that they doing. Right? It's not supposed to be good. It ain't good. See, look, you got, even on the celebrity level, on both levels, on all sides, you got you got men that do it too. They just had the Diddy case last year. Right, let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes, also known as Sirach. Right, chapter 10 and verse 9. It says, why is earth and ashes proud? Because that's all men is. We earth and ashes. You unalive, you go down to the grave, and you just turn into earth. Right? You just dissolve. You decompose. It say there is not a more wicked thing than a covetous man. And covetous means to be greedy. You always wanting things that don't belong to you. That's what covetous means. It said there's not a more wicked thing than a covetous man. Right? For such a want, right, and being covetous, you want them fast cars. You want that lifestyle. You can be covetous toward a lot of things. You want that lifestyle. You want them women that come with that money. You want them chains. You want to shine. You want to be up there on stage getting all that glory. You can be covetous to all these things. Right? It says, for such a one set of his own soul to sell. So you set your own soul to sell just for that lifestyle, just for that glory that you want. That 15 minutes of fame. It says, because while he liveth, he casteth away his bowels. So while he liveth, he set his own soul to sell, and what he got to do? You got a lot of tapes on it. Brothers get pulled into them rooms. Sisters get pulled into them rooms. And they got to do some little weird sex act to get themselves through that door. To get them riches and all that. So-called white man and all these other people that try to imitate after the white man. You know, they say, I understand you. I understand you. You want this this $3 million, 360 deal. I understand you want that. And we see you got the talent. You got the talent to do it. You could do it. You could be one of the biggest stars. You could be up there with, if they're a sister, they're gonna say you could be up there with Beyonce. You could be up there with Alicia Keys and all them, Sierra. And if you're a man, they're gonna say you could be the next Jay-Z. You could be like Lil Wayne. You could be Chief Keef, whoever you want to be. They were like, I just need you to do one thing before we sign this contract to you. And you be like, what? And they be like, they look to the left, they look to the right, and they gonna be like, come to this party tonight. I just want you to come to this party tonight. If you're really down, come to this party tonight. Then you show up at that party, you got a knock, they let you in. You notice everybody at the party are already there. You're the last person to get there. Then you go, they pull you up in a room. They hand you a drink. It's just like a little kickback. They hand you a drink, you drinking it. And so, you're getting dizzy. You're getting dizzy. And that's when, you black out. You wake up, you just lay it in some bed. Your clothes all off, all out. You look like you done got tore every way but loose. You don't remember a damn thing. But then, you leave and then you go back to the office and they watching a video of what happened last night. Everybody know what happened and remember what happened except you. But they watching it on video. And you getting your back broke in. Pause. You getting your back broke in. And you doing abominable sex acts, stuff that you wouldn't even do with old nasty white men. And nasty turned out black men too and all that, whatever. You doing these things. And they videotaped it. And now they blackmail you. They be like, nah, if you ever want to go up against us, we got these videos of you. So now you can sign that deal. And then you sign that deal and they got your soul now. They got you now. They rule over you. That's what it means. You cast away your own bowels. You give your booty up. Pause. For real. These things really happen, man. This is what Nicki Minaj is saying. And then they go, and then you got to do everything that come with the lifestyle. You got to go to them islands, sacrifice to them gods, do all of that. Right? She's speaking about Jay-Z too. Are y'all understanding that these people have been sacrificing children as a way of gaining and maintaining power? If you ever vote Democrat again, you're just as soulless. And she using this as a political campaign. But really, Democrats and Republicans alike, they both do the same thing. They got pictures of Obama at the Bohemian Grove. Come on now. It don't really matter what side you vote for. You shouldn't vote at all. Right? What you need to do is serve the Lord. Right? This is my last precept because I didn't want this to be too long. This the book, 1 Corinthians chapter 10. I think I want verse 20. Yep. Verse 20, it say, but I say that the thing which the Gentiles, meaning the nations, they sacrifice to devils and not to God. So when they do their sacrifices, they sacrificing to devils. They doing those rituals. They doing those things. It say, and not to God. And I would not that ye should have fellowship with devils. So we shouldn't have fellowship with devils. We should abstain from these things and get away from people that live those lifestyles and got them mindsets. It says, 21, ye cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devil. So you can't drink with the Lord. You can't drink with Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, the Most High, the God of the Bible, right? The God over heaven and earth. You can't drink with him and drink with the cup of devils. This ain't no kickback when you can just with everybody. No. You can only rock with one side. You got to pick a side. Right? You either go mess with the Most High or you go mess with the ops, which is the devils. Right? Which one you go choose? You got to mess with the Most High. If you're a wise man, you'll understand that. It says, ye cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and of the tables of devils. Right? So, with that, I'm going to give all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua. Right? Shalom, on to the next one.